comments. Happy Friday. Finally, even though all these days really just run together, if you ask me. There's no difference between Friday and Wednesday and Tuesday and Sunday and Saturday. Except for some days, you're working, right? Hey, Elizabeth. See, got some people on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Nobody on YouTube yet. It's not my normal time. I'm an hour earlier because Kamala Harris is doing a town hall with Higher Heights at 5 p.m. So I decided to come on earlier. Let me see. Say hi to some more people. Let's see. Hey, Ray, Chandra, thank you. I like the beach wave. I try to do the beach wave. The Wendy lady says, "Did you listen to Kamala and Dr. Jill?" No, I didn't have the link for it, so I didn't listen to it. Hey, Robin, Delante, TJ, Janet, Christine. Yes, Janet, you made it on time. Calistine, Derek. Okay, so y'all leave a comment. Tell me if you did catch the Kamala and Jill event, how you felt about it. You know, any highlights. I heard that there were some really warm words that were exchanged, so I'd like to hear a little bit of details about that. And I'll just kind of read off. Hey, Patrice, my sister is on. I've never seen her name on here before. Everybody watches, but I don't always see everybody's name. So I'm so excited that you are joining. And Patrice, I have a book for Grace. So when you guys come, give me a heads up so I can go pick it up in DC. I bought Mina's book. But I've just been too lazy to pick it up because my niece has been out of town. So I'm like, oh, when she comes back, then I'll give it to her. But she loves to read. Let me see. Hey, Analia, Jay and Rob, Julie, Herb, Hope, Lisa, Dedria. Okay, Delante says the Jill and Kamala exchange was very warm and nice. I think it's very timely too, considering that Trump, y'all's president, is asking the Supreme Court to overturn the ACA. So I think that right now it's really good that they have that sit down. A lot of people don't give Kamala credit. Y'all saw we have the 20 for 2020 list, Star Jones and I. They don't give her credit for a lot of her skills, but she's very well versed in terms of healthcare. And her and Biden are simpatico on healthcare as well. Let's see. Just Information says it was emotional. Actually, I did hear that there were a lot of personal stories about different health challenges and things like that. My first lady is black. That's darn thing for to change my middle name, my handle name again. Hey, Robin. Let's see. Jonathan. Hey. Jill pronounces her name correctly. Thank God. Okay, Patrice says, I'm always on now. I know how to comment. Okay. Hey, Courtney. Amanda says, Kamala was on fire. She spoke about her mom and her mom's battle with cancer. Jill praised Kamala and Douglas. I'm really, really encouraged to hear that. You know, they always like to bring up the thing that I won't mention. But, as Star Jones and I talked about again, y'all got to check out that chat if you didn't check it out. They obviously have a very warm and long-term friendship and, relationship and rapport. And we know that Kamala and her mom, it really, that's still very touchy subject for her. So it does not surprise me at all that she brought a lot of passion and fire. Hi, Kirsten from Gloucester, Massachusetts. Okay, I'm actually from Massachusetts. I was born in Massachusetts. My family is still there. Boston. Let's see. Kamala assured that it was very likely SCOTUS won't weigh in on dismantling ACA before healthcare. Okay, that's good to know. That's good information. Let's see. Kirsten says, I'm a white woman wanting a black woman in the driver's seat. Okay. Hey, Jason. Hey, Shantae. Jan, Melanie, EB. All right, let me see. The Republican has 2 years come up with a plan. These MFs has no plan to replace it with. The plan is chaos. The plan is cruelty. The plan is corporations continuing to make hand over fist profits at the expense of healthcare. The plan is pruning, population control. I don't mean that to be conspiratorial, but when people cannot have healthcare, then people die. That's just a fact. DHS came out in 2019 saying Kamala had the best healthcare plan. Yeah, she totally got screwed in the coverage of that. The Bernie camp really got out in front of her in terms of how they framed that. Hey, MJ. Let's see. Tall, dark, and lovely says, thank you for the 2020 list. It'll be my benchmark moving forward. I really, 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 really want you guys to use that list. I was up till 3:30 this morning. Now, granted, I was procrastinating and doing a lot of stuff, but I literally spent, I think, at least 4 hours on just the criminal justice section, and that was on the DA section. So that's something I really want to talk about today. Is some of the stuff that I found that was really, really good. And I had actually done all this research on Kamala's DA record, and I was planning on doing a thread, but those threads take a lot of time because you have to I you know me, I'm all about the receipts. Then you got to get it in 280 characters, and you got to format it, and so I never got around to doing that before she dropped out. But Kirsten, I got it. But I do have all of that information, so I want to share some of that. I got some of it in that 20 for 20 Medium post, but there's still more. So let's see. Hey, Cynthia. Delante says, Jill said the granddaughters admire Kamala. She's obviously somebody very much worth admiring. Be Breezy, watching 20 for 20 this morning. That's awesome. Thank you. Robin says, I love that families hold each other emotionally accountable. Joe learned from that exchange. I hope so. I definitely hope so. Fabo says, sound like Jill, like Kamala. Imagine that. After all the stuff they've been trying to say, that's a problem. I think at the end of the day, there's a lot of stuff going on about the Veep stakes, and a lot of people, they try to throw their little shade or whatever. But at the end of the day, I think that it's obvious that Senator Kamala Harris is one of the most trusted surrogates, one of the most effective surrogates for the Biden campaign. And she has range. I mean, remember she did the town hall, the black COVID town hall. And I believe, who was it? Was it Congresswoman Fudge who was on there, and some black clergy people. Simone Sanders moderated that, and now she's doing a healthcare town, conversation with Dr. Joe Biden. So she has the range, and that's something that we talked about, cultural competency and things like that, of being able to move into these different spaces. So she's also done a woman for Biden call and all kinds of stuff. Blizzard Finger says, did you see the Sam Sater video talking about Kamala? I can't stand some white liberals. I didn't see it, but I didn't. I did not. That doesn't surprise me. I told you about these white liberals. Yeah, not all. If it don't apply, let it fly. Delonda says, you were born in Elizabeth State. No. Elizabeth came to work in my state. She's not from Massachusetts. She just works there. She lives there. Hey, Mary from Fairfax. Let's see. Okay, Robin says Brookline medium. I know that, sometimes we would catch a train. I mean, fly into Boston, and then my family, this was before Uber, so they would be like, oh, catch the bus to Brookline, and then we'll meet y'all there. I don't make people meet me halfway. When they come to my city, if they need a ride, I go ahead and I pick their ass up. But it is what it is. Let's see. Zola from Western Massachusetts. We got some Massachusetts people in the house. I don't even know who Setter is, by the way. I really don't know who that is. Gerald says, I'm supposed to be in Massachusetts for vacation, but COVID happened, staying in Canada. My husband helpfully pointed out last night that I haven't been nowhere almost this entire year. We haven't been out the country. I haven't been to the West Coast. I haven't even left the East Coast. Child, I'm having cabin fever. I'm not one to be in the house. Everybody that knows me knows I like to be out and about. I like to travel. I like to be at concerts. I like to be at fabulous events. And yeah, I've been at home, and I'm gonna have to stay at home too. But I've been torn because I'm like, well, damn, there's people out there who like doing all this shit and they're not getting COVID. So it's like, are we the dumb ones or are they the dumb ones? Because if you don't get it, I guess it was worth the risk, right? Because you didn't end up getting it. Meanwhile, we over here wearing masks and shit, staying at home. And they are living their best life. But it's going to be too late because the whole shit about to be shut down again. Hey, Lisa from Norwood. MJ, appreciate you giving my beach wave love. Shantae says there's no way Joe Biden would not pick Kamala Harris. She's smart, intelligent, and have lots of wits. It's no way a merit-based pick won't be Kamala, but We do have a white is right problem in this Democratic Party in this country. Hey, Carmen. All right, all right. Let's see. I'm gonna try to catch up on the comments. Dadria said the list is well thought out. I can see how much research you put into the information. You know, honestly, that 20 for 20 list, um, you guys know I'm an encyclopedia of Kamala, and I swear to you, I have spent, if I put all of the time cumulatively together, like let's say an 8 hour workday, 40 hours a week, I had to have spent at least a month worth of research on Kamala, because a lot of times you encounter people, they just Google Kamala and then they just put whatever the fuck first shows up. Well, if you do that, you're not going to actually find out any information about Kamala that's worthwhile, because everything that shows up first is all the hit pieces. So I've done research in ProQuest. I've done research on Congress.gov. I've done research on ProPublica. I've done research on, the various government websites and things like that. And so I don't always, I was actually going back to, and I was like, oh, I forgot about that. I'm like looking at my own Medium posts or my own threads and being like, oh shit, I forgot about that. So yeah, I have a lot of receipts. I still have even stuff that I haven't even put in a, social media friendly format. Let's see. Just Information says there's a smear going around that Kamala protected Catholic clergy abusers. People are crazy. So to address that, what it's basically saying is somebody was complaining, newspapers are complaining that Kamala Harris's office did not release certain files to them. Well, there is actually a letter to, and I might have actually saved it. Let me see. There was a letter to the editor in response to that particular piece from an attorney who was in the office at that time. Come on. Hello. Okay, I think this is it. Oh, I have it handy. So, let me read off part of it. Okay, I'm going to read it off. I didn't have it memorized, Chair, so I'm going to go through it. It says, so this was in response to that San Francisco Weekly article. It says, priests, not secrecy or privacy. Priests, not the only ones exposed and records go public. I was the assistant district attorney under District Attorney Terrence Hallinan, who investigated and prosecuted the clergy employed by San Francisco Archdiocese who were suspected of child abuse. I am still employed by the district attorney's office and was involved in our response to the inquiries by San Francisco Weekly for these files. It was my advice that the information not be disclosed. The principle for not turning over these files was the same under Hallinan's administration, the need to protect the privacy of victims. I can attest the overwhelming majority of victims did not want their past disclosed. This is why we proceeded by non-public grand juries. It was also my experience in prosecuting this case that for a majority of victims who were almost all male, I was the first person and often the first male to whom they disclosed the abuse. The investigation of the Archdiocese ended years ago under Hallinan administration after the U.S. Supreme Court ruled California's statute of limitations law was unconstitutional. When the U.S. Supreme Court made its ruling, we were forced to end the investigation and release indicted priests. I am surprised by Hallinan's reported statement that the information we acquired during the course of the investigation should be released. He declined to do so after the ruling. I believe he acted ethically and correctly. It was wrong for San Francisco Weekly to accuse District Attorney Kamala Harris and thereby this office of protecting Catholic pedophiles. I have known Harris since she worked as line assistant district attorney in this office under Hallinan. I'm also very familiar with the assistant district attorney she employs. Neither District Attorney Harris nor any prosecutors in this office have ever had any tolerance for people who hurt or sexually abuse children. This is from Elliot Beckelman, assistant district attorney of San Francisco. Okay? And this was June 9th, 2010. So this was not a matter of a campaign thing. Oh, I want Kamala to be president, so I'm going to defend Kamala. That was a letter to the editor, and I'm gonna put the link in. I hope that you guys will be able to see it, and I hope I was fast enough to get that in 2 minutes. But I will clip that because I think that clergy abuse thing, it's one of those things where people always try to attack her and her strength has always been protecting children, fighting sexual abuse. And so that's the kind of shit that people do, where they try to recontextualize things. And because journalism is fucking lazy, particularly when it comes to the black woman, they know they can throw out these fucking accusations and it sounds sensational. They have the clickbait headlines, and then buried in, in the article somewhere is the exculpatory information. So anytime somebody says Catholic priest Kamala Harris protected pedophiles, you go on ahead and you share that article. And like I said, I will very much try to hope if I didn't fit in 2 minutes, then guess what? I will go back and I will speed it up and edit it so that it's 2 minutes, because that's some straight up bullshit. And like I said, that was written in 2010. 2010. So then nobody had no reason to protect Kamala Harris's presidential campaign or vice presidential prospects in 2010. But guess what? A lot of these fucking articles, these hit pieces and shit like that, people have an agenda. That's why when I do my research, like I said earlier, I don't just go Google Kamala Harris right now because it's going to be bullshit. I go back to the contemporaneous reporting to see what people said then. And guess what? It's a totally different story. Now I know that took me a couple of minutes to get through. So let me see. Let me go back and try to catch up. Shantae says Kamala Harris knows about laws like Joe Biden. They will be the best team. Yep. Change Bernie's diaper. Jill and Biden. Kamala had a great event. Hi, hey Noemi. Let's see. Love the black fist. Thank you, Black Millennial. I think you're talking about me. Jody Jacobson. I already dragged her ass. I'm not gonna do a repeat. She's irrelevant. She's a nobody. A lot of these people really, if they didn't talk about Kamala Harris, nobody would even know who the fuck they are or what they even had to say. There's a lot of cloud chasing going on. Gerald says Kamala actually has actually experienced solving real problems. Yes. Most experience aside from Joe. Yep. Jalu. You have absolutely no logical basis for what you're saying. I'm not even going to repeat it. Ashley. Let me see. I'm so far behind. I'm getting all these things. Hold on now. Hold on. Damn, I got, okay. This thing is not letting me be great. Jalu, I'm just confused as to how you even made it over here on this page. I'm really confused. And then you're going to be on the page and be belligerent. You can go. Anyway. Alright, I'm sorry I'm going to have to skip some of your comments because I'm so far behind. Hey, Anthony from DC. Okay, Ashley, what'd she say? I literally can't think of anyone better than Kamala as VP pick. You know I agree. As far as the hippies from Atlantic, I saw it and I addressed that with him personally. I just really cannot stand the contempt and just disgust that these, white writers in particular have towards Kamala. He wrote this glowing piece about Elizabeth Warren, like she fucking walks on water, and then he writes everything in Kamala. She's the most sinister, evil motherfucker that walked the planet. But I just checked his punk ass. Do not share that Atlantic piece, y'all. If you see it, do not share it because it's some straight up bullshit. Share what black writers are saying. Erin Haynes, she writes really excellent stuff on Kamala. She did a sit down interview with her. And so I would encourage you to share the writings of black journalists, not these white liberals who ain't shit and who always want to talk about Kamala in the worst way possible. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Hey, Andalia. Let's see. All right. I'm dieting and health training for the inauguration. Stay healthy. Yes, that's a good idea. Doesn't hurt to do that. Melanie says, I see some progressives are gunning for Hakeem Jeffries. What is the deal with that? Hey, Justine, my cousin Justine is on here. Hey, girl. You know what? I think a lot of it is, progressives pick and choose who they want to be the acceptable blacks. And the acceptable blacks are people that are not a threat to their preferred power dynamic. And Hakeem Jeffries, if you ask me, is quite progressive. So, I just think that they have, first of all, the so called progressive movement is very anti black, very anti black. Especially they're very anti black people who already have power. Oh, they all for you if you are an insurgent, if you're trying to unseat an incumbent that they want out, they're all for you then. But once you actually get power, then they turn on your ass. So a lot of these black people that they all gung ho for now, wait till they try to go. Let's see what happens if Ayanna Pressley wants to go up against Elizabeth Warren in 2024 for her seat if she's still in the Senate. Do you think they're gonna be all gung ho Ayanna Pressley? I don't think so. Let's see. Hey Carmen, how the hell Trump ain't got COVID yet? I think. Man, Trump got some kind of treatment. I don't know what he got going on, but he got something going on. He ain't just walking around just eating McDonald's and burgers and fucking fries and shit and not getting COVID with all the stuff that he's doing. So I don't know what's going on with that, but it's definitely something to it. Priscilla, you're welcome. Thank you. Carmen says, I'm telling you now, Kamala will be VP. That's cool. Crumpet, thank you. Team Trudeau, P4 America. Hey there. Robin, I'll think about that. Let's see. All right, I think I might be kind of caught up. So y'all want to talk about Pence? What's going on with Pence? I didn't really catch. I didn't really catch that. Diamond says, can you speak on the false story about Kamala Harris not prosecuting Steve Mnuchin? I'm so sick of these bums. There's really not much to it. There was no jurisdiction. At the end of the day, it wasn't. People act like Steve Mnuchin was gonna go to jail. Steve Mnuchin was not gonna go to jail. It was not even facing criminal prosecution. It would have been civil. So people really need to chill the fuck out with that. But it's really nothing to it. She didn't have the jurisdiction. She didn't have the standing. She's introduced legislation to resolve that issue. No fucking bankers went to jail. So I don't even know why people even act like it's Kamala's fault that nobody went to jail. But anyways, let's see what else y'all got. What else y'all got? Hey, Rochelle. All right. Incam, hey. Let's see. What did you say? I went too far. Jillian, hey. That's why we have to continue to advocate for Kamala. They want to stay silent. Absolutely. Our voices are our strength. Patrice is my sister, right? Do you think, okay, so Susan asked, sorry, let me go back up. I don't know why my thing is not. Susan says, do you think Kamala doesn't full stop reject these claims as false because the sheer amount of the bull is exhausting? I think that she probably has a feeling of like, well, I don't want to give fuel to stuff because a lot of the stuff is more on the fringe. And I think to some degree that's absolutely that's fine, but also I don't think it hurts to have rapid response. I mean, Elizabeth Warren had a rapid response section on her website. I think that Obama had one. I think that when it comes to these cases and stuff like that, I think that Kamala, as most black women are, they're about like the buck stops with me. I take responsibility. I take accountability. It's not about making excuses. And a lot of times when you explain stuff, it kind of sounds like you're making an excuse, but it's not that I'm making an excuse. It just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I think there's a tough needle to thread. But I was impressed with when she was on Anderson Cooper, as she flat out said that was a lie. So let's see, and Kim. So it says out here trying to make us believe that we don't want a black VP. So let's talk about this New York Times polling real quick. So basically, the New York Times wrote an article that basically was pointless, to be honest with you. But what they tried to lead off with is basically this poll, and they framed it as people say that it doesn't matter if Joe Biden picks a black person or a white person or whatever. Well, that's not actually the question. The question in the poll that was asked is, do you think that race should be a factor in Joe Biden's decision? And very few people said yes. And I I understand why that was the result. But let's be clear, saying that should race be a factor in Joe Biden's saying no, race should not be a factor in Joe Biden's decision is not the same as saying race is not a factor in my decision, because there has been polling, plenty of polling actually, that confirms that people are more enthusiastic about voting for a woman of color on the ticket. Over 60 something percent said that in a morning consult poll. And so there is definitely polling to suggest that people would like to see a woman of color. That's not the same thing as saying that they think that somebody should be chosen because of their race. That's just saying that they would be excited about it. So what they're trying to frame it at is, to me, gaslighting. Because as I said, it's nobody cares. That's not true. That's not true. There's actually been polling that people would be more enthusiastic, actually 20 points more enthusiastic for voting for a woman of color versus voting for a white woman. But they don't want to bring that up. But go on ahead and believe that it makes absolutely no difference in the world, Joe. Go on ahead and believe that if you want to. Do you know, talking about Tall Dark and Lip says, do you know if her support in the East Asian community is good? I know that Kamala has always done very well with the AAPI community as a whole. I don't know about specific segments, but yeah. Mark, thank you for watching Roland Martin Unfiltered. Hey P, let's see. Yeah, Robin says it's important to respond to bad pieces. Editors take note when papers get called out. Even if I don't retweet something, even if I don't amplify it, I definitely get in people's ass about what they say. And I pointed out the hypocrisy and double standard, which is to me racist, in how he covers Warren versus how he covers Kamala. And a lot of it is, and I saw this, I called this out too, where Kamala Harris had an interview. It was an HBO show, and the woman just was real funky towards her, real funky. It was several people I called out about that shit during the campaign, because there's this disdain and there's this contempt that a lot of people have towards black women, particularly ambitious black women, and particularly black women who are seeking higher office. And it shows, it's dripping. And maybe they don't know it. I think that you know when you write something that you being shady as fuck. But maybe if I'm being charitable, they don't know it. But I want them to know that we know it. Let's see. Susan said progressives like Kamala Harris before she ran. That is the damn truth. Then what? Then when she run for president, then she's the motherfucking enemy. Ain't that something? Regressives, okay, yes, work. Hakeem is awesome. Regressives only want us to step and fetch for them. I said I was going to start calling progressives regressives. And thank you, MJ, for reminding me that I need to continue to do that. Robert, you can fuck off. How you gonna talk about she'll sink when, you know what, I'm not even gonna dignify your dumb ass with a response. But I appreciate, I appreciate that my page is attracting more trolls. That must mean that I'm saying something of importance. That must mean that y'all pressed about something I'm talking about. Russia, is that you? Anyways, hey Dave. Let's see. Trump has no heart, no soul, and is not human. What's Trump doing? Is he doing something right now? Because y'all talking about Trump a lot. Trump was social distancing from the young right-wing crazies that he spoke with at the little Phoenix rally. Did y'all see how packed that Phoenix rally is? I was like, oh my God. It was so many people up in there. Pence said Trump saved millions of lives. Shit, where? Did y'all see that the CDC is saying that the actual, based on antibody testings and different surveys they've been doing, that there might actually be 10 times the number of accounts of cases of COVID than what we have seen? I mean, that's just insane. I mean, it's 20 million people by now have gotten COVID, whether they were never symptomatic or whatever the situation may be. But that's really wild. Penn said all 50 states have open responsibly. So that's why, where was it? Is it Texas or Texas that closed down the bars and shit? That's responsible, right? Pence is a liar. He equated no mask to freedom of speech. I don't know how people go out there without masks and stuff on. I'm telling you, I get nervous when I'm out, and I'm not out often, but I get nervous when I'm out and people don't have their mask all the way up. Like if they have their mask down here, people be walking around. I get anxiety. I'm like, you know what, y'all need to step the fuck back away from me. I turn my head, like I be like, stay over there with that. Let's see. Are you kidding me? Let me see. Gerald says absolutely matters that race should be a factor. There should be a line that we have crossed. You know, I agree, but I don't know what's going on with people, child. Low key, Farnsworth says low key, Kamala being chosen still won't persuade her naysayers within our community. I disagree. Only because a lot of people, y'all might not remember, a lot of people were anti-Obama too before he got the nomination. A lot of people switch up on your ass. A lot of people do. And guess what? If they haven't switched up on you in a negative way, they will as well. Because there's a lot of people that be all gung-ho different black women. But then as soon as they're chosen, then people going to turn on their ass. And so it goes both ways. The thing about Kamala, though, the benefit that you have is that she's already been put through the ringer. And she's come out ahead even after all of that. And so that's the benefit that you have with Kamala. You don't have to go through the honeymoon period and then they immediately dragging the fuck out of you and then you don't have time to recover. It literally took Kamala a year and a half to recover from that hit piece that came out about her as a progressive prosecutor, you know, and recover from all of these attacks on her. And we don't have a year for somebody else to get this onslaught of attacks and recover from. Hey, Pamplin. Let's see. Luthaza said, honey, did you hear about how Russia paid militants to murder American troops and Trump admin knew for months and offered no military response? Story broke today. I did not hear that. Can you post the link? I did not hear anything like about that, but that sounds very disturbing. Arizona has nearly 70,000 cases. And what's crazy, what's crazy to me is that their cases now are more than what they've had even for the past couple of months. Jillian says, I just did some research. Oh, come on, I don't know why this thing is. Y'all must be leaving a lot of comments, and that's why it's not cooperating. Let me see. I did some research, and turns out the request for the DNA testing was before her time. And when the case was brought to her attention, she publicly called for the DNA testing. So I think you must be talking about Kevin Cooper. And the thing with Kevin Cooper's case is I've mentioned this before several times. Kevin Cooper was up for clemency. Before Kamala Harris was the AG, he had exhausted all of his appeals. Okay. And so there was no jurisdiction that Kamala Harris had for DNA testing, she wasn't blocking any appeals. It was all with a matter of clemency for the governor, who was Jerry Brown at the time. Before that, it was Arnold Schwarzenegger who denied clemency. He actually, what's his name? Kevin Cooper actually had a second DNA test that was ordered, which further incriminated him. And so they were saying that there was new technology for a third, and they were trying to get a third DNA test. Kamala Harris had no jurisdiction over that. You know who has jurisdiction to order DNA tests and clemency matters? The governor, which has been done. Jerry Brown did it 2018 on his way out, and Gavin Newsom came in and he ordered additional testing. So people, this is recontextualizing things, because Nicholas Kristof in the New York Times wrote about it and tried to put it on Kamala. You will not find not even one single solitary mention of Kamala Harris and Kevin Cooper prior to 2018, or maybe even 19. You will not find one mention of it, because Kamala Harris did not have jurisdiction. But that's how people do the shit. They say, oh, she should have done that, even though it's a lie, when she didn't even have any jurisdiction over it. Missouri is being done. Six Flags and water parks are open in Texas. Haven't heard whether the governor or Abbott is shutting that down. I haven't heard about that either. Oh my God, Harris County, Texas, Houston is reporting a rate of an uncontrolled outbreak. Yeah. I saw. I think they're going back to. I think they're going back to a lockdown. Robert, I see you've made your way to YouTube as well. Thank you for the views. I appreciate haters. Whether it's a hater or a lover, it's still the same number of views for me. So welcome and fuck off all over again. Let's see. Louis, I don't even know why you even asking that question, Chad. Okay, it's in the New York Times. Okay, I didn't see it. I haven't seen it yet. Florida is up 2,000% in a month. Canada is down 75%. Jillian, if you look at I have a mega thread, and actually it has a link to all the stuff that I've debunked, and Kevin Cooper is one of those things. So you can check it out on my Twitter page. I think I follow you on Twitter, so I'll try to find your account and I'll tweet the link towards you. Let's see. Hey Eswin. I'm reading about these COVID numbers. Y'all are more on top of these COVID numbers than I am. It's just amazing. 9,000 cases of Arkansas now. It's projected to have 15,000. Oh yeah, crazy. I did say went to code red. Hey Cheryl. Florida has a 15 to 18% positivity rate. Did you guys see about the basketball players? 6 of them, I think. Was it 6 out of 300 something or that tested positive for COVID-19, and they're talking about restarting. They're talking about restarting the season in Orlando. I'm like, well, why the fuck would y'all pick Orlando where there's an outbreak to restart the season in? Y'all should have chosen some place like, I don't know, Montana. I don't know. Where's a place that doesn't have bad outbreaks going on right now? Noemi says the county where Phoenix has hit more daily cases than the worst days of NYC. And that's the thing that's tripping me out, because I feel like, 16 players were tested positive for COVID. I think that what trips me out is like, okay, these numbers are skyrocketing, right? We're seeing some worse numbers even than what we saw at the beginning of this pandemic. And yet it still seems like it's not hitting home yet. Okay, y'all beefing on YouTube today. What is going on? I'm so confused. Luthaza, why you cussing on Miss Cardio Queen? She ain't doing nothing. What you talking about? Y'all need to knock it off. Oh, okay. Cause Miss Cardio Queen said considering the expertise of police for a VP is a slap in the face. You ain't gotta tell her fuck you for that. That's her opinion. Come on now, be chill. This ain't no this this is not that kind of party. I can tell people fuck you, but y'all can't. Not joking. Nah, but y'all chill, man. Chill on that. Anyways, okay. So let me move on. Y'all getting real buck in these comments. We don't need a hostile environment. Leave the hostility for me. And I forgot what the hell I was even talking about, because y'all getting all buck. Oh, that's what I was saying. Okay, that's what I was saying. I was saying that it seems like when this stuff started going down, it was like really alarming. And now that it's even worse than what we started back then, it seems like people aren't alarmed yet. It still seems like people are still kind of going on about things unless it's directly in their city. And so that's what I'm wondering. What is it going to take? How many people getting infected? How many people dying is it going to take before people actually start to really take this shit seriously again? So that's what I have to say on that. But I'm going to move on. I'm going to talk about some of the stuff, and then I'm going to hop off, but keep commenting. Yeah. Okay, y'all keep leaving your comments, but I do want to talk a little bit about Kamala Harris's DA's record. So you guys know I've done a thread on, hey TT, my friend TT is here. Um, I've done a thread before. Angela says people are getting tired of hearing about COVID and they don't know people personally affected. It's sad. I know, it's crazy. It's really crazy. Tom Clan Cotton, yes. Tell us what take this seriously actually looks like. Well, for one, wearing a mask if you go out, social distancing. That's part of what taking it seriously means to me. You still have people like down in was it Florida where the lady was out there talking about 5G and Bill Gates and talking all these conspiracy theories about wearing masks and shit. It's just crazy. All right, all right, all right. So let me talk a little bit about Kamala Harris's DA record. So I've done threads before on her AG record. I've done threads on her Senate record. I've had a lot of information put out there about those two things. But what I haven't talked a lot about was her DA record. And I think there's really a lot of good stuff in there worth sharing. So that's a section that I added to the 20 for 2020 Medium post. And so you can access all the stuff I'm saying here. I'm probably going to do a thread that's going to have even more than what this stuff is because I didn't want to have it be a 10-page thing for the Medium post. But I'm just going to give you some of the highlights. I'm going to read my comments because there ain't no point in me trying to reinvent the wheel shit, yeah. Y'all have heard a lot of this stuff before. But there's some new things in here that I wanted to talk to you about. So just some of the stuff that I've mentioned before. As DA Harris transformed operations in several significant ways, she implemented email system, which sounds like insane. Also, I read that there was only one computer for every 3 attorneys when she came into the DA's office. I mean, this was 2004. That's pretty ridiculous. Most of us had computers in 2004 by that point. She created a hate crimes unit specifically to, target the hate crimes against the LGBTQ community. She created the environmental justice unit, the child sexual assault unit. She also performed private public partnerships to raise funds for her Back on Track program. So some of that stuff you guys have already heard. But one of those things that I want to talk to you about is, did I open up the right file? I sure didn't. Okay. Where is it at? Oh, you know what happened? I was in the executive acumen. I needed to be on the criminal justice reform. Okay. So let me go through some of this stuff. I'm not gonna be too long when I promise y'all because I do want to be off by 5 o'clock. But I just want to point out some things. To this day, prosecutors are still overwhelmingly white, 95% white, and mostly male, 75% male. So when Senator Kamala Harris, then DA Harris, was going into room, she was one of the few, if not the only black people in those rooms, okay? And so her DA record is completely distorted, and I really wanted to call attention to some of these things that I'm sure you haven't heard about these things, okay? At least not all of them. So one of the things that she did, day one, Kamala Harris put an end to seeking a life sentence on the 3 strikes, on the 3rd strike. So in California, it's been the rule of the law. There was the law of 3 strikes, you have life sentence. Doesn't matter on your 3rd strike what it is. So that was something that she did for nonviolent offenses. You will not automatically get a life sentence for that. 25 years to life is what it was. She created the Back on Track program. We talked about that plenty of times. But one thing that is interesting that you guys may not know, and unless you watched the interview with me and Latifah Simon, the program was actually for people facing lower level drug sales. Well, here's the thing. In California, a drug sale is a felony. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. There's no such thing as a misdemeanor, there was no such thing at the time as a misdemeanor. Louis, you punk ass little funky ass bitch, you can get the fuck up off of my goddamn page. I'm definitely gonna block your punk ass. Fuck you and the horse you rode in on, and your mama and your dad and your cousin and your sister too. Okay, bitch, bye. Blocked. Let me go ahead and go on my motherfucking Twitter right now, on my YouTube, and log in and make sure that punk ass little bitch is motherfucking blocked. Cause what you not gonna sit up here and do is talk shit and derail the goddamn conversation, okay? I ain't got time for it. You see how these motherfucking people act? Where is he at? Let me go find his punk ass and block him. Louis, some shit like that. Sorry, I had to pause for the calls, cause I ain't about to do this. It looks like he's gone. I'm gonna keep looking for it. I ain't got time for these people today. You see, I'm trying to motherfucking have a conversation, and you know, motherfuckers want to act stupid. All right, back to the motherfucking program. What I was talking about is that for drugs in California, you were gonna get a felony regardless. If you were selling it, you were gonna get a felony, period. And so what Kamala Harris's program did was actually, it was more of a diversion program where your record would be sealed and expunged after you completed this program, and provided, you know, parenting classes, job placement, healthcare, things of that nature. And she had to go and get that funding on her own. And it was something that was derided by the white prosecutors as hug a thug and back on crack and things like that. So that's the thing with that. But the thing I also wanted to point out is that 2 grams of crack at that time, if it was caught with intent to distribute 2 grams of crack, that was 25 years or 20-year sentence that you would be facing. Well, her program was up to 5 grams. You would be able to be eligible for this program. And the really important thing too is that it reduced the recidivism. So recidivism is when you go back to jail, you reoffend. From 53% statewide was the average, down to 10%. And so she does not get enough credit for that. But that was a program that really targeted Black and Latino, people who were facing 20 years essentially for selling drugs. And I mentioned again, Rashard Brooks, I don't know if you guys saw that video where he talked about how hard it was for him to get, literally, he said, back on track, literally, because of the inhumane way that they treat him as an ex-offender, and, just trying to get a job and things like that. And so that's it. Okay, Luthaza, Miss Cardia was talking about Val Deming. She was not talking about Kamala Harris, so y'all can chill. Anyways, let's see. So, but what I also wanted to point out was that Kamala Harris actually spearheaded the San Francisco Reentry Council. Okay. And that was a council that was set up to work to reduce recidivism. So it wasn't just the back on track program. That reentry council actually had 3 programs. One program was actually set up by the public defender's office, and there were some other programs that were a part of that as well. And so that's one thing I wanted to highlight. And it was public and private partnerships with government. It was organized labor, business, and community leaders. Okay. And so I really wanted to underscore that point. I also want to talk about her work with the victims, though, because part of criminal justice is the victims, right? That's what people are out on the streets for. Justice for Breonna. We still need to have the cops that murdered Breonna Taylor arrested. But there are all kinds of, victims of crime that need a system that takes their pain seriously. Hi, Mom. My mom just stepped into the comments. Okay. So I'm going to say hi to her. I'm trying to multitask, y'all, because y'all in these comments is off the chain today. So what I want you to know about this is that in her first year as DA, Kamala Harris was recognized by the San Francisco Child Abuse Prevention Council as Child Advocate of the Year. That's important because I already mentioned to you, you guys mentioned earlier that there was this smear about the clergy thing. I read the whole letter, so going back and read it again. And that's where I said people try to attack her where her strengths are. As DA, Kamala Harris launched the first on-site trauma therapy program for children and youth who are victims and witnesses of domestic violence or sexual assault in the state of California. My husband is on. Hi, hubby. He's on YouTube. I'm so excited. He says, "Oh, I'm watching your video." And then I'm like, "Oh, really? I don't see your comment." And I'm like, "What's your name on YouTube or whatever?" So I'm so excited. I just feel so loved today. I feel so loved. Anyway, y'all say hi to my hubby. Anyways, y'all can guess who he is because his last name. Hello. Let's see. And so, okay, so she placed, and so here's the thing. So Kamala created the first on-site trauma therapy program for children and youth. But here's the thing that's also important. She placed a special emphasis on recruiting minority counselors who would be best equipped to provide culturally appropriate youth services to youth. So I really thought that was really important. She also spearheaded opening the first safe house for prostituted youth. Prior to becoming DA, if you guys saw my interview with Latifah Simon, she was very integral in efforts to end the so-called, they call them so progressive, right? You know, this is the most progressive prosecutor, and Kamala Harris was to the right of him, and yet he was sitting up there charging people, you know, minors for prostitution. Kamala Harris was very instrumental in changing that practice and changing the way that prostitution was even handled in the state, in the county and city of San Francisco. She increased her emphasis on providing violent crime victims a wide range of services, such as crisis intervention, access to grief and trauma counseling, crime scene cleanup, emergency shelter, court accompaniment, and more. And for families of homicide victims, Kamala Harris provided them with up to $7,500 in burial costs. And in the state of California, if the homicide victim was a person who had a felony record, or maybe if they were out on probation or anything, something like that, then they would be ineligible. Well, under Kamala Harris, San Francisco was the first in the state to still allow that sort of assistance for those families, because those families still needed help regardless of somebody's criminal past. It doesn't matter. So another thing, this is going to be really important. I really want you guys to pay attention to this, because, you know, a big misconception and actually a smear, a lie on Kamala Harris is that she used her position as DA to prey on poor people and people of color. Okay. And they use things to say like, oh, well, you know, she locked people up, and they try to make it seem like she was out there targeting low-level people, you know, in terms of low-level crimes. It's throwing them in jail and locking up the key. That could not be further from the truth. Okay. In fact, Kamala actually launched several initiatives to increase the engagement with the community. Okay. And I'm going to talk about restorative justice in a second, because that's something that nobody talks about. Nobody talks about this as it relates to Kamala Harris's record. But I do want to talk about her community engagement first. Alberto, I've already talked about Kevin Cooper. With your stupid motherfucking ass, you're misinformed, so you can get your punk ass the fuck up out of here. Do I have any moderators that I've given access to? You know, y'all motherfuckers y'all always want to pick the hill to die on. That ain't even a motherfucking hill to die on, because like I said many times, Kevin Cooper had exhausted all of his appeals before Kamala Harris became AG. It was a matter of clemency, bitch. And the motherfucking clemency needed to be granted by the governor. Still hasn't been granted. He got a DNA test ordered by the governor, which is within the governor's purview. So get the fuck out of here. Y'all need to go back and take your goddamn civics lessons again. Okay, maybe if you came on here to do something other than talk shit, you might learn something. But let me go ahead and log in to my chat on Periscope so I can block your stupid ass, since you coming in here just to talk shit. Anyways, like I said, community engagement. Okay. See, this why I'm gonna end up being late to get off here, because motherfuckers sitting up there coming up over here. Kevin Cooper got fucked by Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jerry Brown, not goddamn Kamala Harris, Albert Leo Malvo. But I'm glad you still commenting, so let me see. Can I go ahead and block your dumb ass since you don't want to learn shit today? You want to sit up here and be loud, dumb, and wrong? Let me go ahead and block your ass. Let me go ahead and comment. See, this is what they want to do. Y'all trying to get me off guard, but I'm not going to let you do it. The devil is a lie. The devil is a lie. I'm not going to let you do it. Community engagement. You see how the devil worked, though? You see how the devil worked? I'm sitting up here trying to educate people on what Kamala actually was doing. And yeah, here come these motherfuckers up in here, loud and wrong, talking shit. Community engagement. Let's talk about it. So she appointed a community DA liaison for each neighborhood that worked with locals and the police department to solicit community input on public safety concerns and implement crime preventative measures. Here's the thing. The notion that black people or even Latino people just want people running rampant in their areas and shit, killing people, raping people, murdering people, knocking them upside their head, breaking into their motherfucking cars is ridiculous. People don't want to be abused by the police. People don't want to be tormented by the police, but they absolutely want the police to be responsive to their needs and try to combat crime. And so not Senator, at the time, DA Harris actually had appointed a community liaison to be most in tune with what's going on. So that's that on that. Let's see. I'm going to remove. Okay. Robert, you're gone. Oh, wait. No. Let me go ahead and block. Hide user on this channel. Goodbye. Let's see. Harris launched immigrant resource affairs. So one of the things that we know is that there's sanctuary cities, but we also know that a lot of times immigrant communities have an issue to reporting crimes because they don't want to get deported. They don't want any kind of they don't want to have any kind of issues. So what Kamala Harris did was she had these immigrant affairs where they actually went into the communities, their resource fairs, and they provided them information about their medical and legal services that they were entitled to receive regardless of their immigration status. What else is there? Oh, she launched the first neighborhood legal affairs, which was to engage a community on issues such as neighborhood safety, domestic violence, elder abuse, and consumer fraud. And these legal affairs also provided on-site services to various community, city and community organizations. Okay. I'm going to go on ahead and remove him as well. Louis, bye. See you later. You're blocked. Okay. Let's move on. Restorative justice. Restorative justice is so important, right? Because when people talk about defund the police, to talk about prison abolition and things, abolish prisons and things like that. One of the concepts behind abolishing prisons is restorative justice. Well, wouldn't you know that Senator? I keep saying Senator, but let me say Kamala. I'm trying to be all more, more official. Kamala actually expanded restorative justice as DA. So what San Francisco has, they have these things called neighborhood courts, or also called community courts. When Kamala Harris came in, she actually expanded the community courts. She added 3 additional community courts, bringing the total up to 12 cases. Let's see. It sounds like people are still acting up. 12 people. And I really actually hate the Periscope platform because the comments never show up. I can't block people. It's very difficult to handle it when people are acting fucking stupid. So I apologize if you guys are having issues. If anybody if anybody is a moderator, if I've made you a moderator, please block anybody that's out of pocket. Please do that. And I don't have time to really do it because they're trying to get me off track. So this is how the community courts work. And I'm gonna wrap it up here. This is how the community courts work. They handled adults charged with misdemeanor crimes such as petty, gambling, graffiti, loitering, shoplifting, assault and battery, alcohol beverage control violations, and other and lesser drug violations, and quality of life crimes, right? You might recognize quality of life stuff from Amy Klobuchar, right? Because that's one of the things that they dragged her about, was how she increased prosecution and sentences and things like that for quality of life crimes. So Kamala Harris had these community courts. And be clear, these cases and these community courts were actually diverted from the DA's office into these community courts, okay? And so that's where the restorative justice happens. All right. So these cases are adjudicated by a panel of local residents, and there were over 100 volunteers citywide. And so it's like again a restorative process. The panel explains the impact of this offense on the community, and then they decide what the penalty will be, which is a mix of community service. It could be restitution or fines. It could also be counseling, anger management, things like that. And so that's how thousands of cases were diverted to community courts each year. And as long as the participants in these community courts actually satisfied the requirements, then they did not face formal charges from the DA's office. So it was something that saved the city money in terms of prosecutions, but it was also more of a restorative justice process. So that, if you don't take anything away from this long conversation that I've had and with all the sidetracks, please go to this 20 for 20 list. It's credentials, not cosmetics. And it's on my pin thread. You can go and look on that, and really please take away from that the importance and when people want to talk about defund police, you can talk about back on track. That's kind of a defund the police type of a thing where you're talking about putting money here versus there. Please, I want you guys to be able to use this information about how Kamala Harris actually expanded the use of restorative justice community courts in the city/county of San Francisco when she was DA. All right, so I know that Kamala is probably coming on any minute now with Higher Heights. Go check that out. I will be back Monday with this live chat. I'm going to keep updating the credentials, not cosmetics Medium post. I have so much more to go on. Share, it's a lot of work, but it's worth it. It's worth it, especially when you guys share. I saw that tons of people retweeted it. It got tons of likes. Don't just like it, retweet it. Even if you don't like it, you can retweet it. Even if you don't retweet it, bookmark it. Use this information because a lot of people have all these misconceptions about her record, and it's very, very important. We don't have to just start at 2010. She came in day one, 2004, making changes in our system. So you guys have a good one. Our family cook-off is tomorrow, so you will see those pictures tomorrow. I'm on rolling on Thursdays. I'm only on rolling on Thursdays. You got to catch me here every other day, Monday through Friday. So y'all, thanks for tuning in. My hubby says another awesome convo. Oh, he's so wonderful. My husband is the best husband. I don't care if y'all might think your husband's the best husband. My husband is the best husband. So you guys have a great weekend, and thanks for tuning in. Bye, y'all.